October 12th, 2024 was a day that rocked the internet.
ごめん。
And a year later, the ripples are being started anew. Hi, my name is Charlie, and today I want to take an in-depth look into the final two chapters of Mizuki Akiyama's fifth focus event, Wither This Path of Thorns, known as Mizu 5, and the implications of said story. Mizuki is one of the main characters in Project Sekai, a Japanese rhythm game which follows the lives of 5 high school musical groups. Each group discovers these little worlds called sekais in their device, which house different versions of the virtual singers: Hatsune Miku, Kagamine Ren, Kagamine Len, Megurine Luka, Meiko, and Kaito. Mizuki is a part of the online music girl group called Night Court at 25 o'clock, consisting of Kanade, Mafu, Ina, and herself. The story of the game is presented through events, each one lasting about 9 days. There are 2 kinds of events, technically 3, but we don't talk about whirlwinds because, oh my god. There are focus events and mixed events. Focus events are, as they say, focus on a specific character and a group. They're normally released with 3 4-stars, 1 3-star, and 1 2-star, mostly consisting of the group itself, but sometimes with a virtual singer. These are the cards that were released for Mizu 5. Mixed events are not focused on the key story of a specific character and are more so fun bits of lore for the fans. And these are the cards from the last mixed event, and as you can see, they all come from different groups. Now, as I mentioned previously, Mizu 5 was released on the Japanese server of the game on the 12th of October 2024. It came to the global server exactly a year later on October 12th, 2025. Kamiyama High is preparing for its culture festival. There, Mizuki finally plans to tell Ina that she is transgender. She's been hiding the secret from her and her groupmates for over a year at this point, and it's eating away at her. As the story progresses, Mizuki is seen sick with worry that her classmates will out her night court. After the festival, Mizuki plans to meet Ina on the rooftop. Ina waits for her, but is approached by some of Mizuki's classmates. After learning that they're friends, one of the boys laughs and asks,
君も男だったりする感じ?
は？じゃあ。じゃあ。話したいことって。
あっ。
は。
After realizing she's been outed to one of her closest friends, Mizuki runs away, despite the fact that she was ready to tell Ina she wasn't ready for somebody else to get there first. In a panic, Ina takes a shortcut to intercept Mizuki. She manages to grab her, and we get some of the most heart-wrenching dialogue in modern queer media.
でも。僕はその優しさがみんなの中に生まれちゃうことがどうしようもなく嫌なんだ。そんなこと。ごめん。ずっと話せなくて。ごめん。向き合えなくて。ごめん。水木！水木！ 私はなんで。
After Ina collapses, the story abruptly ends. After that, Mizuki no longer appears in the real world until the end of Ina's next focus event at the end of November. When seen in a night called Sekai, Empty Sekai, Mizuki's chibi is frowning and has lost its eye shine. From now on, she speaks in a monotonous voice, losing all emotion. Now, before this event, how did we know that Mizuki was a transgender girl? Well, over the 4 years before Wither This Path of Thorns, she has been heavily implied to be as such. Ever since release, she has been bullied for liking cute things and dressing like that. That being the female school uniform. One of her core character motives is the fact that she has a secret she's been hiding from Nightlord. Mizuki talks about how afraid she is to tell Ina, even though she is sure that Ina won't hate her for it. She's terrified of things changing or her friends treating her differently. But at the same time, what if nothing changes and they pretend everything's the same? But in their hearts, they know that she's different and they're scared that they're gonna make her upset. This contradicting narrative is common for transgender people who often prepare for the worst case scenario when coming out to their closest friends and family. In previous Mizuki focus stories, and even mixed events, we've seen a lot of flashbacks of what her life looked like. In middle school, she is pictured wearing the male uniform and with short hair. During this time period, she was unhappy, and that much is seen in the way she held herself. The mirror in her room was also seen to be covered. This implies that she didn't like to look at herself during this time. In the current storyline though, it's uncovered, showing that she is more confident looking the way she does now. In a lot of Mizuki cards, which are special pieces of art players gacha for, and if you don't know what gacha is, it's basically gambling but without real money. Pink, blue, and white colour schemes are used. This is the colour scheme of the transgender flag. While this could be written off as coincidence, this has happened so many times that it almost certainly has to be transcoding and the developers hinting at her identity. As well as this, the music video for her first commissioned song, ID Smile, features this colour palette as well. Commissioned songs are special songs that producers make after being, well, commissioned by the company. It is written for the event and for the character. In the mixed event, besides unchanging warmth, Mizuki recalls memories of shopping with her sister, Yuki. Yuki is seen comforting Mizuki, telling her to be who she is and keep dressing cute. Though she warned that people will be cruel about it. Not everyone is as understanding as her family. Despite this, at some point between stories, Mizuki stops wearing the cute clothes that her sister made for her, and she starts pretending again. Though she does start embracing who she is in the main story. Mizuki has been a constant point of controversy in the Project Sekai fandom since 2020, even in the English-speaking space, where the game wasn't released until 2021. On the website, her gender was listed as a question mark. Note that the gender section has now been removed. Now, I wasn't there on release, I only got into the game about a year ago in November of 2024, so I can't speak from experience, but from what I've heard from people who were there on release, Mizuki's gender caused a lot of complaints from the English-speaking fandom, who allegedly made such an uproar that Colourful Palette, which is a subsidiary company of Sega, released Mizuki using only they-them pronouns. This immediately opened the door to transphobic theories and formed an argument against her identity. Personally, I don't think that Mizuki canonically using they-them would work for her character. Her friends are under the impression that she is a cis girl, and her only using they-them and being referred to as such would sully that assumption. It just doesn't make sense, and it's clearly a weird localization thing, especially considering those sorts of pronouns that we use in English don't really exist in Japanese. Also, I want to touch on the fact that she uses boku instead of atashi or watashi, which is a more masculine pronoun. When they say something, they say boku wa, my name is blah blah blah. People like to say, oh well, she uses boku, so like, that's a man. But no, boku is a gender neutral pronoun that anyone can use. It's probably what she grew up using, so it's gonna be like muscle memory at that point. Just wanted to point that out. That's not on the script, but it made me angry. Now, since Mizuki has never outright said, oh, my name's Mizuki Akiyama and I'm a transgender girl, look at me, I'm a transgender girl, everyone look! A lot of people are still in denial about it. Well, they agree that yes, she was born a boy. According to them, she is cross-dressing, which I have no words for. Actually, I do. This makes no sense. Cross-dressers are dressing to combat the perception of their gender. We know their gender. They are men who are dressing traditionally female to directly oppose their gender. Mizuki is dressing traditionally female because she aligns with the traditional female identity. Not in like a weird way, but you know, feminine, cutesy, pink, blah blah blah. There's a lot to say about cross-dressing versus transgenderism, but that's not the topic of this video, and I fear that it would become a documentary as opposed to a short video essay if I got really in depth with that. Unfortunately, most transgender Mizuki deniers are just outright transphobic, and they love to go into TikTok comment sections and type, "Oh, Mizuki, my boy, oh, he." What a state we live in, oh my god. Okay, moving on from the online discourse, I want to discuss the implications of Mizuki existing in the media she does. Not only is Project Sekai created by one of the largest companies in the world, it holds a primarily Japanese audience, being created in Japan itself. While Japan isn't an inherently homophobic country, it does legally hold less protection and rights for its queer people. Same-sex marriage is banned, there aren't protections against hate crimes, and conversion therapy is still very legal. A video game from Sega having a main storyline about a transgender woman of colour in today's society is honestly just mind-blowing, especially one so grounded and emotional and real. And just to talk about my credentials real quick, I am not a trans woman. I am a fab, but I am non-binary and have had a lot of struggle with my gender over the years. I have no idea what it's like to be a trans woman in today's society, but as someone who's very, very active in queer spaces, I know how hard it is for them. And seeing Mizuki's story being so real and so relatable to so many transgender people, it's heartwarming. I want to look at the story moment through the complex lens of queer theory, which honestly I've kind of already been doing. Defined by Baker L. Michelle in queer theory literature, queer theory began as a reaction to a series of binary distinctions it has questioned, challenged, or outright denied. In practice, queer theory demands repeated, nearly infinite re-evaluation of the standard that is established or assumed by text, both literary and cultural. Essentially, for all us non-academics, queer theory is looking at the way a piece of media challenges the heteronormative standards set on us by society. Mizuki's storyline is rich with these defiances, especially in Mizu 5. In fact, her utter existence challenges these norms, not to mention her kind of homoerotic relationship with Ina, but that's a topic for another day. Mizuki's existence as a trans woman of colour is so important. In today's society, representation is more important than ever. The world has seen a large uptick in ableism, misogyny, racism, transphobia, and homophobia. Even though numbers of self-identified queer people are higher than ever, the world is becoming a more dangerous place for them. We've already seen a change in representation in recent years with The Little Mermaid. It is starring Hailey Bailey. When that was announced, it was met with mixed reactions. On one hand, people were furious that the producers had cast a black woman in the role of a white redhead. Guys, her race isn't even a part of the story. We all know why they were upset. Like, come on. On the other hand, we had videos of young black girls reacting to the trailer begin to go viral online. The way their eyes would lit up when they saw her was just, amazing. She looks like me, they would say. Using this example, we can see why a press group having representation is so important. It helps to not only normalise the existence of all kinds of people, just regular people, but it also makes them feel seen and understood. Mizuki covers two of these bases. Young trans girls, especially young trans girls of colour, may see themselves in her and find comfort in her character. As mentioned in Bernini Lorenzo's Queer Theories and Introduction, From Mario Miele to the Antisocial Turn, so many transgender activism and representation is primarily focused on white transgender people. Mizuki is arguably one of the most popular characters in the game, and to have her, as an Asian, be such a face of transgenderism for young gamers is so incredible. In the article, A Growing Number of Gamers Are LGBTQ+, So Why Is Representation Still Lacking? By Katie Klein, it is stated that nearly 30% of Gen Z, born 1999 to 2012, adults identify as being part of the LGBTQ community. Despite this, only around 2% of video games feature a queer character, with even less being a playable or main character. Mizuki being one of these is groundbreaking and huge for queer representation. When I have been speaking about the fandom's reaction to Mizu 5, I have been speaking about the English space. I am an English-speaking person, so obviously I'm not immersed in the Japanese side of the fandom. But through the comments on Baki no Hana, the commissioned song for Mizu 5, I was able to gather some opinions from the Japanese community. Whether this Path of Thorns was widely considered to be an absolutely groundbreaking event, with many commenters pointing out how emotional they were. Through multiple comments, people were sympathising with Mizuki, with one disabled user applying the song to their own experiences. Now, not many comments discussed gender. However, I did find this one that I felt was really just amazing. The song title refers to the fact that when a flower blooms, the stamens and pistils inside the petal are exposed, revealing its gender, and is a reference to the proverb, "the mask is peeled off." The cruel removal of Mizuki's veil is portrayed in an incredibly merciless way, which is both genius and painful. I did want to also mention that all of these comments were translated through Google Translate, so they may not be 100% accurate. There were a few which had, he, him pronouns used for Mizuki. As I said before, pronouns don't work the same in Japanese, so this was probably an error from Google Translate, but I didn't find any transphobic comments in the comments section, which was awesome. Overall, across all sides of the fandom, most people seem to accept the fact that Mizuki is a transgender girl. She is incredible representation and an amazing young woman outside of everything I've discussed today. Shout out to her voice actor Sato Hinata for her incredible work and beautiful voice. Seriously, honestly, probably my favourite singing voice in the whole game. Thank you for watching, and thank you for learning about Night Court at 25 O'Clock's video editor with me.